All right, we are at the track at New Balance Nationals Indoor, and now I'm joined by Allie Zealand, the girls 2-mile national champion. How does that sound?
Oh my goodness, that is so cool. I've like been dreaming of this moment for so long. So
I mean, this is not your first rodeo, but this was a race, right? Like they did not hand it to you. So coming out here, running a personal best, being at your best on the biggest stage, was it everything you hoped for?
Yes, most definitely. The race was set up really well, and just being able to race against such like really talented girls is just such a blessing.
Now I'm going to play the race and we can just talk through things, but as you came into the meet today, how much of a focus was on running a fast time versus just beating everyone else in the field?
Yeah, I mean, my goal was basically just to get under 10. I would have been happy with that. I was really looking at like 940s, so being able to get under that is super great. And then obviously the win is what I wanted. So
where are we starting out? You're on the outside lane there. Are you one to want to take the lead, or are you happy to sit back for a little bit?
No, I don't like leading at all, so I was really just hoping to get back and hang on to the girls for as long as they stayed on a fast pace, and then took it whenever I had to. So
who did you have your eyes on coming in? Like, who are you most concerned as the main competition?
I mean, I know Sam has been running really well this week. She's run some really fast times, so I knew she was going to do well. And then Addie, of course, being the NXN champion and then Gatorade Player of the Year, I was really looking at those two girls. And Abby Faith, too, coming back from the 5K. Like, this was just a loaded field, so I was, like, super thankful to have these girls to push me along.
Now, I mean, right now you have the opportunity to sit in a little bit. Are you comfortable right now? Or can you tell this is going to be a good day?
Yeah, I felt really, really good the first few laps, and so that gave me a lot of confidence going like into the second half of the race, knowing that I felt good and comfortable.
Have you raced Sam before, or Addie? I mean, on the track at least?
Yeah, I've raced Sam a few times, but this is my first time racing Addie on the track, I think, so it was really fun.
And I mean, almost immediately the four of you are breaking away from the field. Do you like a fast race? Is that always like tactical? Forget it. Like, let's just see who can run the fastest.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a pretty good kick, which is like sometimes fun to like leave it to the last few laps. But
spoiler alert, we're gonna see it.
But I really like wanted to run a fast time today, so getting out quick was something that I really wanted to do.
Where does indoor fit in with your whole season? I mean, do you love indoor track? Virginia,
yeah.
You guys have some indoor tracks down there, so
yeah.
Do you enjoy it? Is it a treat?
Yeah, I love indoor track. It's second to cross country, but I do love indoor track, and like this season has been a little weird because I'm doing cross country and indoor, so kind of combining my favorites, but yeah.
So I guess an exciting thing that I want to touch on right now is you're already committed next year of where you're going. Liberty.
Yeah.
Why Liberty? You know, tell me, what attracted you most to staying in Virginia?
Yeah, well, so my mom coaches there, so I've grown up around the college, like around the campus, around it. I know like everything about them, and so it was sort of a dream for me to go there, but I definitely didn't want to just go there because it was all I knew, so I looked around at some other places, but I really felt that Liberty was where God wanted me. The Christian culture is just super great, and I'm super blessed to be able to have that next year.
Now, are you getting advice from Mom before this race, or is it like, you know, it's all you?
Yeah, it's super nice to have her here. She always helps me out getting ready and everything, so yeah, it's nice.
So right now, you guys are still bunched up. The pace settled a little bit. What's going through your mind? I mean, you're running on the outside of that lane one every now and then. Are you getting antsy? Is it time to go?
Yeah, I was feeling really good then, so I was like, felt a little weird feeling good because I was like, it should be hurting more than it is. And so at this point, I was sort of like, I didn't see the pace lights yet, so I was like, okay, it's pretty good. But once they came up, I was like, okay, I don't want to let them get too far ahead.
Do you like having the pace lights there?
Yeah, I think it's a good for me to know like where I am, and it less like focus on having to do the math of the splits in my head. So
are you watching what's on screen during the race, or like paying attention to the clock as well, or is it just about, you know, the other girls around you?
Yeah, I mean, today it was a big goal of mine to run fast, and so I was definitely looking at the time, looking at the pace lights. But it was also like once I took the lead, I kept looking at the screen to make sure like who all was around me so I could know what the race is like.
So right here, you're swinging out into lane 2, coming off the curb. Was that because you saw the pace was slowing a little bit, or was that a more strategic, let me put the hurt on?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to take the lead that soon, but when I saw the pace lights start going, I didn't want to let them get too far, and so I knew I was going to have to lead more of the race than I wanted, but I was really wanting that fast time.
So at this point, you know, you're starting to open it up, string it out a little bit here. Is that the way that you normally like to run? Obviously, you have a great kick, but that cross-country strength, especially after this past season, do you feel different as an athlete this year now with that strength behind you?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. It's been super helpful training for cross-country, getting a good base in, and just knowing what strength I have. During the race, I wanted to really start pushing it earlier so that because I knew Sam with a good mile was going to have a good kick, so I didn't want to leave it up to that. But when she stuck with me, I was like, oh boy, I'm going to have to keep pushing. So it sort of like was trying to push as hard as I could earlier.
So when you see 4:56 on the clock, what does that say to you? Like, I know that if I'm feeling this good, they are as well. Like, you probably knew at that point it's going to be a big negative split.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I saw that the girls were pretty much sticking with me, and so I was like pretty much expecting to have to really, really push hard the last few laps. But I was kind of excited for that. I really love being able to race such great competition, and so I was looking forward to just really pushing it at the end.
How unique is it to come to the track and have this many fans so engaged and cheering and the music going off? Is that like a unique experience for you?
Most definitely. Running here at the track, this is like my favorite indoor track to run on. It's such a great feel, such a great environment with the crowd and the music and everything, like the fireworks. Like it's just like such like a unique experience. So I love being here. It's a lot of energy, so it's great.
Were you able to catch any of NCAA's here this weekend?
Yes, yes.
What was your impression of that? I guess they warmed it up for you, right? The college kids.
Yeah. It was super fun to watch. I was able to come in person and watch some too, which was really, really awesome. It was super cool to watch like the mile and the 800 and just sort of get inspired for today.
Are you a track fan? Like, do you really
most
love
definitely.
the sport?
Oh yeah, I absolutely love the sport. Been watching track since I was little and like definitely really obsessed with it.
So then you must follow the New Balance pros as well.
Oh yes.
Have you had an opportunity to meet any of them?
Yes, definitely. This past year has been really cool. We've been able to be out here in Boston a few times, and it's just been really special to be able to meet some of these really cool athletes, and like even like being able to meet Elle St. Pierre before she went and like crushed it at the World Championships was like just so cool.
It's inspiring, right? All right, so now checking back into the race, I mean, Addie had reattached, you know. Is that something you were aware of, that they're still there on your heels?
Yeah, I saw on the screen that they had caught back up, and at that point I was a little nervous knowing Addie had some really good cross-country strength. And like she's just such a talented athlete, so I was like, oh boy. And being in the front kind of makes me uncomfortable, so I was already like, oh man, what is this last few laps going to be like? So I was really just trying to like stay engaged and keep pushing and make sure I didn't slack off on the pace.
So we're less than 800 meters to go. What's the hardest part of the race for you, where you're like, I need to buckle down right here if I'm going to make it to that finish line?
Yeah, I mean, before the race I had sort of said 800 meters to go would be like where I was going to like really start kicking. But when I got to 800, I didn't feel it, so I waited. So that was probably the hardest part of the race. And so I sort of waited until like 300 or 400 to go.
So are you one to, I mean, look back, are you aware that they're still there, very much, you're like the hunted right now? Mm-hmm. Are you able to wind it up with that knowledge that they're waiting as well, that it's not quite enough yet?
Yeah, I was sort of like waiting for, see who was going to make the next move, see who was going to go, like try pushing. And so like just be able to be ready to react, be able to be ready to like push it whenever anyone started going.
Is it kind of surreal to see the time on the clock here with 400 meters to go?
Yeah.
It's something you've never seen before.
Yeah, it was really cool to like see that and know that I was going to be able to get under 950. Just like super special to know that I was going to be able to happen. So at that point I was like, okay, all I'm looking for now is the win. I know I'm going to get the time.
You just took a little glance over your shoulder, see if they were still there with 300 meters to go. I mean, the ability to close really quickly, where does that come from?
I mean, it's just sort of like my mom was always a good kicker, and so I've always grown up watching her, and it's just been like I've done a lot of like speed training in the past few weeks, like making sure I can clip down easily, and it's just one thing that I've like really like developed as an athlete that's really handy.
So I'm going to put you on the spot here. TV broadcast, you're the commentator for the final 100 meters. You got to call your own race.
Oh my goodness.
Let's see what you got.
Oh my goodness, I don't know. I don't know, at that point I was sort of thought I was going to get caught, but I didn't know who was on me, so I just sort of went, and then it hit me that I'd done it, and it was just so crazy.
There was a huge pack there that you had to go around at the last second. I mean, finishing in lane 3, but you're pumped here. I mean, has it sunk in yet? I know it hasn't been that long after the race, but you're a national champion. You have to now like recalibrate your brain that you're a 947 girl.
Yeah, it's super, super special for me to be able to say that. It was a really, really big goal of mine coming into this. And so like, especially watching the really great track meets happen this weekend, I was like super inspired going into it, and super motivated. So like just doing this is like, be able to put myself on that top 10 list all time is like something that's really special.
So you have more races coming up here. Where are we going to see you next?
World Cross Championships. So a few weeks.
How exciting is that to be able to go there and represent your country on the stage?
It is so special. I mean, after going last year, I was like, that was such a cool experience. I knew I wanted that again. So to be able to have the training this year, to be able to like have expected that, I have a lot higher goals going into it, and I'm a lot more excited about it.
Was that race one of the most chaotic cross-country races you've ever been a part of?
Oh yes, yes. It was. They really set up the course to be hard for us with obstacles and everything, but it was so fun. Such a great experience.
Well, we're excited to watch you represent Team USA once again.
Yeah.
Now you're going in as a national champion. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And we'll see you outdoors at New Balance Nationals.
Oh yes. Thank you.
Great.